Hi, welcome to another video. Sorry for the 2-week pause in there. I got busy with some things at work and I am also doing some streams on my other channel. If you want to take a look, I'll leave a link in the description. But without further ado, I'm back and let's get back to this video now. So for this week, it's a quick one again. This is one video that I had pre-recorded, and to start with, I imported some astronaut model from, I think it's Big Medium Small or Kitbash 3D. So for starters, I used the A&T landscape add-on to create some ground. I just created like a mountain terrain, and then I just lowered the scale on Z, so I get like a flatter ground, but with just like enough variation so it just doesn't look like a plane. So next thing is just to position the camera, and then I imported another model of a female character, which is from DAS 3D, I think, one of their posable models. The pose is also very default, and it's a model I had previously, so I just keep reusing it every time I can. So I just needed the head to create the image that you've already seen. So for now, I'm just trying to establish the composition for now. I am using some assets from the Quixel Megascan library to create some mountains in the background, some cliffs, some big rocks, just so I can like block my scene out. And always remember to save your file. This was a very short video in real time. I think this took like probably like 2 hours or something like that, including the Photoshop part that you'll see in a few minutes in here. So that's why this video is kind of slower compared to the other videos, because I usually try to fit the 3 to 4 hours that each of these videos takes me like into around like 15 to 20 minutes at the most. So today I have way more time to talk to you guys, so the process is much slower, but still have the same 15 minutes that I usually do. So what I mean is that I'm doing less things on screen, sorry. So I have a bit more time to talk about some other things, maybe. So for now, I added some more models from the Quixel library that I have added to my asset library, and I started to place them manually in front of the pad of my camera, just to add a little bit more detail in the scene for the terrain, because as I said, I have like a very basic terrain that comes from the A&T landscape, but that will probably not be enough for a ground. So I added some more assets again from the Quixel Megascans library, and then I added some texture that will have some displacement on the ground, which will help a little bit with the evenness of the ground. And I like this material that I can't remember where I got it from, but I use it like for every rock every time almost, because it has like some cool breakups and I can change the color every time I want. So here I was experimenting with the Cell Fracture add-on. This is an add-on that comes by default with Blender, so you have just to go to the preferences and turn it on. I can't remember the exact name, but it's just like Cell Fracture or something like that. And what it does is that it creates like a cube to which then applies like a Boolean operation using like a Voronoi noise or some cell fracture thingy, and then intersects the same object with that new geometry, so you get like a lot of different blocks from the geometry that you selected, in this case the head. I kept it in there for a while, But then I saw that it was not reading properly. My intention was just to illustrate the idea of this planet being like low gravity. So whatever was inside the head just exploded, and then some of those chunks were just like floating away because of the low gravity of the planet, hence the astronaut. But then when I started like doing some tests, I realized that it was like too noisy, meaning visually, not like noisy from the render. Like it was too distracting to have all of those cracks in the head. And then when I started applying the displacement, it got crazy. So then I just decided to get rid of it and go for a cleaner read, because at this point you can see you cannot make out the face as easily as before, and it gets worse whenever I add the atmosphere or the fog a little bit later. So then I just like got rid of it and went for a pretty clean read on the head. Some decisions you have to make as you go along with the process. So here I was just like experimenting with some displacement, and that's when I just like decided, screw this, I won't make it work. Let's go for a cleaner read. So by now this is the usual process that you've seen me do many times by now in all the other videos, which is just create a cube and then add like a volume scatter texture to the shader. Sorry, it's not a texture, it's a shader to the output, and then play with the density to get some atmosphere in there. And here I just created a area lamp and set it to a circle, and that's what I am using to light my scene, just as if it were an overcast super foggy day. And the idea for this is just to get some direction from top that gets diffused by the volume, so I get some hints at the depth of the scene. But then I added some spotlights to the astronaut suit, so I can add this like torch lighting coming from the suit, as if it were like discovering this head, like, you know, this planet's more of like an exploration thing, and this is the moment where you just discover this big head in front of you, using the torch on your suit. So playing a little bit with exposure, trying to go for more of a mysterious vibe, and then changing the aspect ratio for the render to a more cinematographic aspect ratio, which I can't remember if this is like a 2.3 to 1 or if it's like a 2 to 1, but it's probably like a 2.3 to 1, or maybe even like a 2.4 aspect ratio, which is like the CinemaScope aspect ratio usually. And yeah, so here you will see me wait for the render, which probably took like around 3 to 4 minutes or something like that, maybe even less. But this is because of the volume shader, which usually takes a little bit more time to render. And here I am exporting the passes that I will need in Photoshop, which is the beauty, ambient occlusion, which I am tweaking by now here in Photoshop. Then I have some direct lighting, and then some volume direct lighting. And yeah, I am using all of this to comp the final image, so I can start overpainting a little bit in Photoshop, get back some details in the background that I lost whenever I applied the volume scatter shader. And yeah, so here's the process that you've seen me do a couple of times now, which is create a new layer, set it to overlay, and then start painting with black and white. And here now I am adding some more atmosphere, some more noise using a cloud brush that I just like got from somewhere online. It's the cloud brush that everyone uses, and it's like in every brush pack out there. So here, checking again a little bit my values, lighten with overlay in white, wherever I feel I need some more light values, just for a simpler read. I am darkening the head so it goes dark against the lightness of the sky behind it. And here I am adding a bit more of texture to the whole image, trying to emulate like some camera dust or something like that. And here I am adding a watercolor paper texture, just so I get a little bit more of detail in the fog. Usually using like a noise texture, or like a watercolor or even paper texture works great whenever you want to add some quick detail to a foggy scene. Yeah, so that's a nice tip that I use every single time. And here I am going through a library of lens flares, so trying to add more richness to the lighting and the overall, like atmosphere of the render. Trying to add some anamorphic lenses, because again the aspect ratio is trying to emulate some anamorphic film lens camera. But then it was again like overtaking my image, and I wanted to keep it easy to read, since it's just like a very simple scene. Everything I add must like enhance whatever is already there and not compete with the main focal point, which in this case is the head with the astronaut discovering it with the torch. Yeah, so here I am adding a little bit more separation, because the edges of the head got a little bit soft, so I had to get back the silhouette of the head so it's easier to read. And this is a thing called counter change. So that's when you have like light over dark, and then you can have dark over light, which is the case over here. So you start creating like a rhythm within the image, which is what's happening here. So I have a light background, then a dark silhouette of the head. So then I will need a lighter atmosphere, or like a lighter value, so I can then have a darker silhouette for my astronaut, for my main character in there. And then I will have like another light area on the ground, so then I can have another darker area for the foreground rocks. And finally here I'm doing a color correction, which is like the part that you may or may not like. Sometimes I get a lot of comments of people saying that they prefer the raw render, but this is personal preferences, and this is my video, this is my choice, so I can do whatever I prefer at the moment. So yeah, tweaking the color, the values and the curves a little bit more, just to have some more interest in the overall color, because it was getting like too monochromatic, which is something that happens to me every single time, and mostly lately. So yeah, just some enhancements of some shadows in there using overlay again, and we're pretty much done. So I am back. Try my another channel, my streaming channel. I'm doing plein air over there, and I will see you next week. Bye.